Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. This is the one we've been waiting on, so yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Welcome back, geekvariants. We're talking about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So by all means, thank you for swinging in. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Talk down in the comments. Let me know what you think, where you think this movie's going to go, what Easter eggs you saw. I want to hear everything because I got to go watch this movie probably about 10 more times to make sure I get all of it. So without further ado, kind of get into it. And basically, this movie starts off talking about Gwen. We already got an idea on her backstory. This is getting more in detail with her backstory. We kind of see what happens with Peter Parker, and we see kind of the trauma that happened within her life. As it goes on, we see that she's got a rift between her and her dad, and she hasn't really found a place for herself since being part of the Into the Spider-Verse crew with the friends and stuff that she's made. Of course, people who understand her and that are like her. Throughout the course of this, eventually we get a multi-dimensional threat that is thrown into her world. She has to deal with Vulture. She meets Jessica Drew and Spider-Man 2099 in the process and finds out that there is a secret Spider-Verse kind of family thing going on, which again is right up her alley. And they have been kind of monitoring threats and multi-dimensional events that have been happening as time goes on. Now, keep in mind, this movie's been a couple of months, years after the events of the Into the Spider-Verse. Miles and Gwen have definitely grown. It's been a minute. They did give the exact time, but I'll be honest, I can't remember off the top of my head. But this is what's been going on. So this kind of stuff that, they've been dealing with the multiversal threats. Now, apparently, since the Collider incident, there have been several holes that have been torn into existence. And these are where these different characters have been sucked into and then plopped into different universes. So this is why Vulture showed up in Gwen's universe. After meeting Jess in 2099, and she actually gets a chance to join the Spider Society, so to speak, this small team that's comprised of elite Spider-Mans to get everything done. She actually is assigned to watch after a very particular individual. Now, flash forward to Miles. We have Miles trying to figure out his everyday life, doing his normal stuff as a teenager does. Miles is about 15, 16 years old in this time, and he is trying to take on a villain called the Spot. We eventually find out Spot has the ability to take these spots off his body and put them different places to get in and out of different things, and he has a finite number of spots, I guess, that he can utilize at one time. In the process of Miles and his dad, of course, unknowingly to him being Spider-Man, they are trying to capture the Spot, and they end up losing track of him at some point in time, while Miles is also trying to still be a good student and get everything done. Ends up not really working out, so Gwen is assigned to watch the Spot within Miles' universe because he has inadvertently kind of kicked himself through the multiverse with his spots. With that being said, he has to figure out how to get his spots back and whatever needs to go on with him to move forward in his life because he is upset with Miles. Miles is the one that caused his transformation. I don't know if you remember when, hey, that guy stole a bagel and the bagel got thrown. Yeah, the guy that got hit was the Spot. He was there when the Collider incident happened. He was transformed when Miles destroyed the Collider. So that's why he's got a natural hatred towards Miles. Because he has the ability to kind of move through things with these spots. Gwen is watching him, but again, it's in Miles' universe. Of course, what does Gwen want to do? She wants to go say hi to Miles. In the process of that, she loses track of her target, and he ends up coming up with a plan that is divulged to us through a little spider recorder. He needs to get more spots, which means he needs to interact with more colliders, and that's going to in turn make him more powerful and able to defeat Miles. That is his whole plan right now. He wants to take Miles out, point blank period. So once Gwen knows what's going on, and she's been reprimanded by Jessica Drew. She ends up going into the next universe that he has been located in, and that is Spider-Man India's world. So Mumbattan. With this, Miles is of course following Gwen and finds out the entire plan because again they had a little moment of romance. Kind of they know they miss each other and they want to be with each other, but she has a job to do. So him using his camouflage, he follows her into the universe and gets transported. Now, remember, when you're not in your own universe, what happens to you? You glitch out, stuff is going on. So that's the process of Miles trying to deal with stuff within Spider-Man India's universe as he's glitching out. Gwen does her best to kind of keep an eye on him, but Spider-Man India is trying to make sure that his world is safe, and they find out about the spot, and he's going to the Alchemix there to get more power from that collider. So this sets up for Spider-Man India, Gwen, and Miles to kind of take on the spot in the process, and we eventually get introduced to Hobie, which is Spider-Punk. Now, of course, there's kind of a little bit of wondering of who's Hobie, what's going on, does Gwen and Hobie have a relationship? Hobie's just kind of a nonchalant, I'm not down with the government type guy. He does his own thing, and that's kind of the way he's always been. And Miles is, I won't say a little bit threatened, just a little more curious, like, hey, what's going on with y'all two? Is there anything going on? Because she stayed a couple of nights at his house, apparently, or whatever the case may be. But again, Gwen's homeless right now, so she's just kind of floating through the world. With this being said, eventually Spike gets a hold of the collider, runs the thing, he gets more powerful, and there ends up being a big collapse kind of going on in Spider-Man India's universe. And they have to do everything they can to save as many people as possible. In the process, we see that the girlfriend of Spider-Man India, and again, his name is Peter Prabhakar. It's like Privateer Prabhakar. I'm probably butchering the name, but he's supposed to save, he's trying to save his girlfriend, and it looks like he has a choice between saving his girlfriend and saving her father and a little kid. And as he's trying to make that decision, Miles jumps into play and he makes the save. This is where things start to go sideways because he makes the save. You see the world starts to open up and there's a big black hole in the world. Spider people kind of come in 29 and they start doing different things to set up to try and contain it as much as possible, but it's an issue. Eventually, we get it contained to a degree and everyone is transported back to the Spider-Verse headquarters, which is run by Spider-Man 2099. This is where we see all the different Spider people. Spider Cop is there, Scarlet Spider is there, Doppelganger Spider-Man, Cowboys. There's so many Spider-Men there that it is absolutely ridiculous. Like the sheer thought of how many Spider-Men are in the world, within the comics, within the movies, everything is brought full circle. And this is where we see the different little cameos stuff. We see Tobey Spider-Man. We see actually characters from the Venom movie. We see Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Like Tom Holland's Spider-Man is mentioned in the whole Doctor Strange event. Like all of that is mentioned. So this brings everything full circle and understand that, again, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is 199999 guaranteed. We know that freaking Miles universe is 1610. And then everyone else has their respective universes as it goes on. So once an understanding is reached, okay, this is the Spider-Verse. This is what it is. Spider-Man 2099 explains that things are not going according to plan because you have what's called these canon events. The canon events is where we have the breakdown. Spider-Man is based on loss. And because Spider-Man India did not lose something that he was supposed to lose, I guess preordained by destiny, which is supposed to be the father of his girlfriend, the police captain. This is what's causing the rift in his world, which is slowly destroying his world. And now, when I say slowly, I don't know how fast things are actually moving, but everybody got in there pretty quick to start trying to get it figured out. But that's the issue. Spider-Man Miles Morales end up inadvertently saving the captain, which caused the issue to happen. And now Spider-Man India's world is being destroyed. So Uncle Ben is a canon event that's supposed to happen. When Peter Parker died, that was the canon event that's supposed to happen. and it seems like certain things are tied to certain characters, and one of the main things is captains. Captains are tied to this fate in some aspect or another. And with Miles' dad actually about to be promoted to captain, this kind of hints at the loss that Miles is supposed to experience, which is losing his dad throughout the comics. And if you played Spider-Man Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and then Miles Morales kind of picks up on it, where he lost his dad, he loses it in Spider-Man, and then we kind of carry on with his story through Miles Morales on PS4, which we did get cameo of the PS4 Spider-Man as well, which is fantastic. You see that this is something that is very near and dear, of course, to Miles Morales' heart, and he can't just let it go. Like, that's a problem. It was like he's trying to understand. Again, this is a kid. You want me to just let my father die because it's something that's supposed to happen? And again, I respect it. Like, again, this story is deep. The story is really, really good. He's got to figure out how to save his father and not just let this happen. There's got to be some other way. There's got to be something that he can do. And this is where he's trying to get innovative. But we see that with Gwen there, and we see Peter B. Parker show up, and he's got Mayday with him, which is fantastic. We see that he's trying to talk him down and like, hey, this is what I went through. We've all gone through some type of loss in some aspect or another, but nobody told Miles, and that's where he feels betrayed. Like, none of y'all were going to tell me this. None of y'all were going to tell me what's going to happen. Why can't we stop this? And Miguel O'Hara is very adamant because, again, he found out that he had a family in one universe, and again, he died in that universe. So he tried to replace himself in that universe, which caused an event, which ended up causing a canon event, and that messed up the universe, and that universe collapsed and was destroyed. So he's been through it, so he knows the ramifications that come along with it. So what is Miles to do now? And they end up trying to subdue Miles and explain to him, like, he's not supposed to be here anyway. Miles is an anomaly. That's the thing. Miles isn't supposed to be here. The spider that bit him wasn't from his universe. That's where the issue was. And because it wasn't from his universe, he's out of place. Like, he's the one that doesn't make sense. Essentially, he's the one who's special. So, of course, upon this whole realization, he's got to take on all the Spider-Mans. He's got to get through and get out because he's got to get home to figure out how to save his father. And we got this epic chase scene, absolutely fantastic. You got so many different things going on. And throughout the process of this, he actually sets up the plan, and Miles shows that he's way more creative than giving, credit for. He ends up luring out all the spider people just to get back to the room where they have a device that transports people back to their universe by scanning their DNA. So eventually he sneaks in there past Spider Bite, and he ends up activating the machine and gets sent back to his universe, based off his DNA. So bam, it shoots him back. And now he's got to figure out how he's going to save his father. And in the process of this, we get the whole kind of back and forth where, okay, Gwen's trying to figure out how to fix things and what's going on. And, she's been locked out with her time device. Spider-Punk is just like, yo, I'm not with this. And he leaves. He's like, I quit. Like, I don't want to deal with it. And, hey, that's it. So what's to happen? And even Peter B. Parker tries to talk Miles down and explain to him, like, yeah, I didn't want this to happen to you. It's like, I've had my daughter because of you. And it's really emotional. It's really heartfelt moment that he's having with him. It's like, you taught me to be better. But you still betrayed Miles' trust, or you didn't tell him what was going on. So it's kind of, it's a real big tug between them two for that. And again, family goes through stuff like this, and this is what you got to say. Like, they've been a family since Into the Spider-Verse, and they've really bonded. So with Gwen, with Peter B. Parker, and even with the other ones that aren't present right now, with Spider-Man Noir, Penny, and Spider-Ham, like, they're a family, and they understood that they've been through some stuff together. So once Miles gets back, he tries to explain to his mom what's going on, and come to find out his mom isn't feeling it. You see that Uncle Aaron is alive. It's like, why is Uncle Aaron alive? What is going on? he coming in and bringing mom money and stuff like that, and they're heading out to get ready to go do a job, and Miles eventually gets knocked out. And then as everything's kind of going on, Gwen realizes as she's there and everybody's watching, he's not in the right universe. Something is wrong. Where is he? And that's when you got to realize that. And they alluded to this. Miles is from 1610. He was bitten by a spider from another dimension, which essentially changed his DNA. 42. 42 isn't just a number, Jackie Robinson, let's say, like 42 is the universe that the spider came from. So that's where Miles is. And come to find out, now he's stuck in that universe trying to figure out what's going on. And in this universe, his dad died. His Uncle Aaron is alive. And he's not who he thought he was, because he was the Prowler in his universe. Shout out to Childish Gambino, who finally got his showing as the Prowler throughout the Spider-Verse scene. So that was also fantastic. It's coming full circle. But we see that in this universe, we have a Miles Morales who's got braids, who is the Prowler. So now Miles is face to face with himself. He's captured, strapped to a bag because he was knocked out by Prowler. And now he's got to figure out how to get home and face himself. That's huge. And we see that Gwen has now pulled together her own team, her own family, which includes Spider-Man India, which includes Spider-Punk. And we get back the original cast with Peter B. Parker, Spider-Man Noir, Penny Parker, Spider-Man, like the team, the band is back together, and they've got to rescue Miles. This is where the movie ends. This movie was absolutely fantastic from start to finish. Like, there is nothing bad that you can say about this movie to me at this point in time. And again, I'm going to rewatch this thing several times over because of how they set this movie up to really expand the universe. And again, you have Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spiderverse, and then you have the next movie, Beyond the Spiderverse. Like, this is some of the best storytelling I've seen within a Spider-Man, film. Like, throughout all the Spider-Man movies and stuff. And granted, love Tom Holland, love Andrew Garfield, love Tobey Maguire. They've all done well in their respective Spider-Man stuff. But this one right here, Sony hit the nail on the head. They said, some say lightning doesn't strike twice. Say like, they hit it. So like, this has been an absolute ride from start to finish of just what we've got so far. Again, this is just 2 of 3 parts. So to see where it goes in the last, like in the finale of this 3-part series, this trilogy, which Sony they do trilogies and stuff, we can get so much more. And with all the universes being interconnected the way they were, again, not just, Sony's properties and sort of that, but the MCU as a whole, all of this is now connected. I mean, it's been connected since we've got the triple Spider-Man and stuff from No Way Home. So like I said, but again, the connection is running deeper and deeper as it goes on, with bringing Venom in, with bringing in every single Spider-Man from the comics that they can bring in. Like, it's absolutely amazing. So again, this movie tells a lot. Like, this is how storytelling should be done, and I think everybody should take note. Marvel should definitely, like, they're part of this and so with that, but their MCU series and everything that they've got going on here, they need to make sure they are watching this very closely, because Sony is doing a fantastic job. And again, Sony is doing a lot of this stuff in connection with Marvel, but the MCU is ran separately from the way Sony is running their stuff. So again, take that deeper storytelling, take these different characters and stuff and pulling them all together. And they inadvertently told a story across freaking several years. So this has got to be like one of the longest running series that they have, because you got to remember when Spider-Man was introduced way back at how 2001, 2002, sometime in there, to now, is like that. Like this has been over 20 years, and all the stories is pulling together. Like it's absolutely fantastic. So I'm gonna fanboy out for this one, left and right. By all means, down in the comments, tell me what you think. Tell me the Easter eggs that you saw. Tell me the things that you thought that they should change. Tell me the things that you thought they did right. Tell me what you expect to see in the next Spider-Man movie. What do you think can happen from here? What spin-offs can happen from here? Are they going to do anything else? They've already been announced a live-action Miles Morales movie is in the works at Sony. Again, whether they're going to use 1610 Miles Morales, are they going to use, are they going to, use a different version? Like, how are they going to pull it all together? Is that going to be the one where Childish Gambino continues to play the Prowler? I don't know. Like, there's so many questions that are left unanswered and stuff like that. But again, we just got these questions, so we have time to speculate and see what's going on. But that's all I got for this one. Like, again, I'm hyped beyond belief right now. Hopefully I didn't miss any of the main parts. So that I think that's everything. Again, I've only seen it once, and I have to go see it again. So by all means, if you have not seen it, go see this movie. Even with me telling you everything, it is still worth the watch, no matter what you do. So